Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevayam. Om Aganda Timarandasya Ganajana Shivakaya Chakshur Umulitam Yena Tajma Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna. The following video series is a summary of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam was translated into English by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Also included are His in-depth commentaries known as purports. These purports unpack the often complex and symbolic language of the text, making it understandable to a wider audience. The Srimad Bhagavatam, also known as the Bhagavata Purana, is considered the most important of sacred scriptures. Composed around 5,000 years ago, it is considered the ripened fruit of the tree of Vedic literature and the original commentary on the Vedanta-sutra. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam is Srila Vyasadeva. He is also the compiler of the Vedas, classified as a Purana, a vast genre of ancient stories and knowledge encompassing history, philosophy, and spiritual teachings. Srimad Bhagavatam includes stories of avatars, creation narratives, lives of saints and sages, philosophy discourses, and practical guidance for spiritual life. Divided into 12 cantos with over 18,000 verses covering 10 subject matters. 1. The elemental creation. 2. The secondary creation. 3. The planetary systems. 4. Protection by the Lord. 5. The creative impetus. 6. Manvatars. 7. The science of God. 8. The dissolution. 9. Liberation. And 10. The supreme shelter. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, chapter 25, text 143 and 144, Lord Chaitanya, speaking to Prakrisananda Saraswati, tells him, translation, the meaning of the Vedanta-sutra is present in Srimad Bhagavatam. The full purport of the Mahabharata is also there. The commentary of the Bhagavad is also there and fully expanded with all Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is the Supreme Purana. It was compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His incarnation as Vyasadeva. There are 12 cantos, 335 chapters, and 18,000 verses. Canto 1, chapters 13 through 19. Chapter 13. Dhrtarastra quits home. Vidura returns to Hastinapur after learning the science of the self from Maitreya Muni. Maharaja Yudhishthira questions Vidura about his travels, and Vidura, after replying, stays in Hastinapur for some time. While in Hastinapur, Vidura preaches to Dhrtarastra, his elder brother, to give up his material attachments. Vidura pushes Dhrtarastra to immediately leave home and pursue self-realization. Dhrtarastra finally leaves along with his chaste wife, Gandhari, and Vidura. When their absence is detected by Yudhishthira, he inquires from Sanjaya, Dhrtarastra's servant, about Dhrtarastra's whereabouts. Narada Muni appears, and Yudhishthira questions the sage. Narada instructs Yudhishthira about the true situation of the living entity in this world. Narada instructs Yudhishthira to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who has descended upon the earth. Before Narada departs, he explains that Dhrtarashtra, after going to the Ganges, will give up his body while performing mystic yoga. Chapter 13, text 10. Bhavad vida bhagavatas tirtha bhutas svayam vibo tirti kurvanti tirtani svantastanena kadabrita. Translation. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified, because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You turn all places into places of pilgrimage. Chapter 14. The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. Arjuna's return to Hastinapur is past due, and Maharaj Yudhisthira, after noticing inauspicious signs, reveals to Bhimasena his fears that Lord Krishna, whom the Pandavas completely depend on, has departed from this earth. Yudhisthira tells Bhimasena the omens he has seen and concludes that Krishna's footprints will no longer grace this earth. Arjuna suddenly returns from Dwarka, and Yudhisthira in anxiety questions him about the welfare of the Yadus. Yudhisthira's questions turn to Arjuna's dejected countenance, and Yudhisthira concludes that the only possible cause could be that Lord Krishna has disappeared. Chapter 14, text 44. Kachit prasat samenata hridayanatma bandhuna sunoshmi radhito nityam manyasete naktanaruk. Translation. Or is it that you are feeling empty for all time because you have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? O my brother Arjuna, I can think of no other reason for your becoming so dejected. Chapter 15. The Pandavas retire timely. Arjuna, who is grief-stricken and overwhelmed, remembers Krishna and begins explaining that Krishna, his dear friend, is now lost to him. Arjuna retells incident after incident how Krishna empowered and protected him and the other Pandavas. Arjuna then speaks about the intimacy of his relationship with Krishna and how, in the absence of Krishna, he has lost his powers and has been defeated by some insignificant cowherdmen. Arjuna then relates news of the destruction of the Yadu dynasty to Yudhisthira. Feeling great grief, Arjuna remembers Krishna's instructions and becomes situated in transcendence, beyond the modes of material nature. After hearing from Arjuna, Yudhisthira and Kunti decide to go back to Godhead. Sutta then philosophically explains about the disappearance of both the Yadus and the Supreme Lord. Understanding that Kali has entered, Maharaj Yudhisthira frees himself from the material conception of life and leaves home to devote himself completely to thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chapter 15, text 27. Desa kalartha yuktani ritapupasamani cha haranti smarantastitam govinda bhitani me. Translation. Now I am attracted to those instructions imparted to me by the Personality of Godhead, Govinda, because they are impregnated with instructions for relieving the burning heart in all circumstances of time and space. Chapter 16. How Pariksit received the age of Kali. Sutta Goswami explains that once, as Maharaj Pariksit was reigning under the guidance of the Brahmins, he punished the master of Kali Yuga, who was causing pain to a cow and a bull. Sanakarishi inquires about the punishment of Kali and explains the glories of hearing about the topics relating to Krishna. Sutta relates that after Maharaj Pariksit perceives the influence of the age of Kali within his kingdom, he initiates a tour to defeat Kali. While touring, Maharaj Pariksit hears the glories of his great relatives, the Pandavas. Dharma, who was wandering in the form of a bull, questions the earth in the form of a cow about the cause of the earth's current miserable condition. The earth replies that her misery is caused by her separation from Krishna's presence and by the increase of Kali's influence due to Krishna's absence. Chapter 16, text 6. Asha vyasya paramboja makaranda liham satam kim anyar asad alapar ayuso yad asad yaya. Translation. Please speak of topics related to the devotees of the Lord, who are accustomed to licking up the honey available from the lotus feet of the Lord. What is the use of topics which simply waste one's valuable life? Chapter 17. The Punishment and Reward of Kali. Maharaj Pariksit challenges and threatens the low-class man dressed as a king, who is beating a cow and a bull. Maharaj Pariksit then questions and consoles the cow and the bull. The bull answers Maharaj's inquiries about the cause of his difficulties, and after hearing the bull's reply, Maharaj Pariksit recognizes the bull as a personality of religion and begins to reply to him. After Maharaj Pariksit completes his reply, and as he is preparing to kill Kali, Kali surrenders. Although Maharaj Pariksit spares Kali's life, he banishes him. Kali then requests a place where he can fearlessly live. Maharaj Pariksit gives Kali permission to dwell in 5 places, where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter take place, and where gold is hoarded, and all places with which Brahmins and sannyasis should never come in contact. After Maharaj Pariksit drives Kali from his kingdom, he reestablishes religion and begins his reign. Chapter 17, text 24. Tapa sucham daya satyam iti pada krite krita adhar mamsais trayo badna mayam sangha madaistava. Translation. In the age of Satya, truthfulness, your 4 legs were established by the 4 principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. But it appears that 3 of your legs are broken due to rampant irreligion in the form of pride, lust for women, and intoxication. Chapter 18. Maharaj Pariksit cursed by a Brahmin boy. Sutta Goswami begins by describing Maharaj Pariksit's life, which contains wonderful dealings with Krishna. The sages glorify Sutta and the importance of hearing about Krishna from great devotees. They then request Sutta to describe the pastimes of the Lord, especially the topics upon which Maharaj Pariksit fixed his mind and thus attained Krishna's lotus feet. Sutta first explains the process of purification through hearing about Krishna, and then begins explaining the exalted qualities of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Sutta begins narrating how Maharaj Pariksit insulted the sage Samika Rishi by placing a dead snake around the meditating sage's neck. After Samika Rishi was insulted, his son Shringi cursed Maharaj Pariksit to die in 7 days. Samika Rishi lamented when he heard what his son had done. Samika Rishi prays to the Supreme Lord to forgive his son for his foolishness. Chapter 18, text 23. Aham hi prishto Raimano Babadir Achaksas Atmavagamo Trayavam Nabahi Patanyatma Saman Pratitrinas Tatasamam Vishnu Gatim Vipashtita. Translation. O Rishis, who are as powerfully pure as the sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge allows. As the birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows. Chapter 19. The appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. Maharaj Pariksit laments that he insulted the sage. When Maharaj Pariksit hears that he has been cursed for his offense, he begins preparing for his death. Fasting, he sits down at the bank of the Ganges and gives himself up to the lotus feet of the Lord. After hearing of the great king's plight, many rishis arrive. Maharaj Pariksit welcomes them and tells them of his decision to fast until death. The sages glorify the king's decision, and Maharaj Pariksit responds by inquiring from the sages about the duty of one who is about to die. After Maharaj Pariksit has made his inquiry, the exalted sage Sukadeva Goswami approaches the assembly. Maharaj Pariksit offers his respect, glorifies him, and then inquires about the duty of one about to die. Chapter 19, text 24. Tasta chava prichiyam iham vipriche vishrambya vripa iti kriyatayam sarvam mana mriyam manascha krityam sutam cha tatra mrishata biyuktana. Translation. O trustworthy Brahmins, I now ask you about my immediate duty. Please, after proper deliberation, tell me of the unalloyed duty of everyone in all circumstances, and specifically of those who are just about to die.